Ah, the paradox of choice. What a bitch. I'm finding myself at another crossroads with the paradox of choice. But first, a little fun object lesson. This was my first ever smartphone, the iPhone 3G. Doo-doo-doo! Yes, it was fun. Holy shit! 8 gigs, I know. How did we ever need more than that? After the iPhone 3G, I jumped to the Galaxy S. Actually, the first generation, AT&T version. It was a winner overall. Glitchier than the iPhone. Probably should have just stuck with another iPhone, honestly. But no, I had to look at the choices, do lots of research, spend lots and lots of time. And eventually, I then came to this one. After spending a shitload of my living hours of life, to the Moto X. And honestly, this thing was really great. It was a fun little phone. It had some issues though with it. The camera was quite shitty, to say the least. At this point, Android phones were getting much better, but they were also just multiplying, like, Mormon families do. The next thing I knew, I was just overwhelmed with the choices, and I ended up, after a shitload of research, sticking with Motorola phones again and went with the Moto X style. This was a great phone as well. And then I run out of objects to show you because I went after that to the Galaxy S yet again. I jumped back on that bandwagon and got the S10. It was the S10 Plus, and it was an incredible smartphone. And what I found after doing some introspection, finally, I was starting to learn how to meditate and focus in on my mind. And that brought me to a really important insight after, no joke, spending dozens and dozens and dozens of hours researching before I bought the Galaxy S. I loved it. And yet, I was not satisfied. I felt I just had this itch to scratch, still thinking, damn, maybe I should have got the Xiaomi phone. Maybe I should have got a Sony. Maybe I should have gone with the Google Pixel phone. Maybe, right? I was just in this constant state of looking for the next thing. Was I a technology YouTuber? No. Was I a technology blogger? No. Did I really have any reason to be spending 50 plus hours looking into smartphones to find the best possible choice for myself? Absolutely not. But I was doing it because there was an abundance of information, videos, and choices. iPhone, multiple choices. Android phones, an insane amount of choices. And really the list never ended because something new was always coming out. And so I came up with a solution back at that time after I got the S10 and realized overall it was a great phone, but not only that, it had basically fixed all of the problems and issues and complaints I had had in previous Android phones. I didn't feel like there was anything lacking. It just overall was an all-rounder, kick-ass flagship phone. And so I decided to just stick with Galaxy S phones after that. And what happened was amazing because the next version I got is actually the one I'm recording this video on right now, which is the S21 Ultra. I'm still using it today. Yes, it came out a hell of a long time ago. It feels that way, right? Because that's the way life moves. Everything feels fast. But honestly, this phone that I'm recording on is an amazing phone. So I made that decision, and I can't say it was perfect because it wasn't. I was having withdrawals. That's a hard word to say, withdrawal. Tongue twister. Say it 50 fucking times fast, huh? Try that. So I had a really hard time being okay with that. But the longer I sat with it, the better it felt. And instead of spending dozens upon dozens of hours looking into every possible choice I had, every possible place to buy it, I just started going with Samsung's website and thought I will just trade in the last phone I had for a new one when I'm ready. And so now I literally only need to spend about 1 hour per year deciding on which smartphone I'm going to get. And all I have to do is wait until it's released in January and then do a quick read, watch a couple of videos to see what the reviews are for it, and I'm done. I literally bought back dozens and dozens of hours of my life, and on top of that, I am actually satisfied with the next version I get. I've been nothing but happy with this smartphone. This year, for example, a couple of months ago, the S24 Ultra came out. I was able to quickly, in one day, look at it. I watched a couple of videos. I read, one article, and that was it. I literally, within less than an hour, knew, not ready yet. Nope, come back again next year. So really, what is the point of all this struggle with smartphone choices? Well, just because I have solved the paradox of choice in my smartphone dilemma does not mean I have solved the paradox of choice in my business decisions entirely. So I faced the paradox of choice in my businesses. The problem is I didn't have self-awareness originally, and so I jumped from, embarrassingly, an MLM, yikes, very triple yikes, and then I jumped into kids' educational content, which did well, actually, and I learned a lot from it, but it was a terrible choice for me personally, and who I really am as a person, that made no sense. And so awareness started to help me kind of reel it in and narrow my focus to where I didn't have an infinite amount of options. And so I went on to new agey relaxing music, which I personally love to this day. I will forever love it. Composing it was honestly, so far, has been one of the highlights of my musical life, honestly. It was insanely challenging to make beautiful music. I did the best I could. I worked really damn hard on it. As I got into it more, I tried a lot of things that didn't work. Really none of it worked, but it was so rewarding for me personally to compose that music and to put it out into the world. I find myself here now as myself with my own channel because I finally was able to get through and do enough mental work to be okay and accept that it's okay to want to put myself out there and make my own music and put my name out there and just say whatever the hell I want to say in the way I want to say it and allow that creativity to flourish in my life and really just to put it out there and try it out. That's been really hard for me. But doing that mental work allowed me to get to here. The problem now that I face in this paradox of choice is that me as a person, I am incredibly open. In the Big 5 personality test, that is the strongest by far, and it is off the charts. It's almost, whenever I've taken the test, I pretty much pull a 90+% on openness. That's just who I am. So, because of that, when I am just acting as me, I can go so many directions. I love stories. I love reviews. I love health and music and comedy and cartoons and truthfully, anything to do with science, especially social sciences, I just can eat them up all day. I love economics, political science. I have a fucking master's degree in political science. Why? Because I love researching and I love the social sciences. That's why. And it was a fun adventure to go on. And I learned so much about myself and the world. And I love learning languages also. So you see, there's this tricky situation that I run into when I'm presenting myself on my own channel under my own name, because I write a lot of comedy songs, but I also write a lot of serious songs. I love playing instruments. I love producing music. I love learning languages. I could just learn French all day and be okay with that. I could learn German all day and be okay with that as well. I speak in some various form 5 different foreign languages. And honestly, I would like to learn more. Do you see where this is going? Yeah. I found a solution to solve my smartphone problem. Just get the fucking Galaxy S Ultra or whatever the top version of it is each year and just go with that until it doesn't work for me anymore. I honestly do not care about the brand. I just want something high quality that ticks all the boxes. With my channel, I'm trying to ask myself and do that inner work some more. If I only did one thing, what would it be? And that's hard. That's very hard for me to do because honestly, I love so much. Where do I go with my personal brand? Am I everything about my personal brand? Do I share it all? Do I put it all out there? Do I just keep weeding out people who aren't interested in everything I have to put out there? Or do I segment it out? The stakes, I feel, are much higher than a smartphone choice. And yet, perhaps not. Perhaps they aren't that much higher. Because I've already moved past the phase of my life where I thought I wanted to be famous or that I wanted to be a multi-millionaire. Or that I wanted and needed the massive approval of lots of strangers, which I guess, really is just wanting fame, essentially. Very similar. Probably some nuance in there. But for me, in general, I'm not seeking all of these outward things the way I once was. The inner game is far more interesting to me. There's a lot more fulfillment inside. And so I would like to just keep making the things I like making, whatever that may be. But at the same time, I do have to make some money. I don't need to be a multi-millionaire, but I do need to have some money in my pocket. That is a tricky part of it. So in that regard, there is more on the line. But honestly, I would love to build this and keep it simple and narrow down the focus. And having one channel is much easier than juggling multiple channels. But doing one thing all the time, I have found, in my experience, is really hard for me because that is just not the way my brain works. It's just not how I am wired. I really do love a lot and enjoy a lot. And it's not that I just dabble a little bit here and there. I do have a fair amount of experience in different areas. Stay tuned if you're interested. If not, that's fine. I get it. I'm not for everybody. I'm very much not for everybody. This is the dilemma. I don't want to sit here grappling and fighting all the time. My brain is fighting right now, so I do need to make a decision and decide separate silos or all in one. Yeah, it's like, where was the help in this, Nick? Did I help anybody? Yes, the paradox of choice is all around us in America and the world in general. We are abundantly full of choices, and yet we are also unsatisfied with the choices that we typically make. I invite you to simplify your life and find places where you can just make a cut and dry decision so you can also save dozens, if not hundreds, or even potentially thousands of hours over a long enough period of time. I used to just waste so much fucking time delineating over every little detail of every decision I made, and it is exhausting. Over the past year, I have been faced with this dilemma for my own career choice. And what seemed on the outset to be simple, I just choose me, just be Nick Romriell. I am who I am, I'll put my stuff out and build my personal brand. While that sounds simple, it's deceivingly complex. For me, personally, I have been through many different experiences and multiple versions of myself and many different interests and phases of my life at this point, and I'm only in my 40s. It's amazing. Oh, life is good. Thank you, life, for being amazing overall. I am very grateful for where I am. I understand this is a very privileged position to even be in, to be able to struggle through these decisions and do this, but I'm hopeful that others can take something from this. Life is too short to fret about every decision. Homo sapiens are not designed to have this many decisions. So cut down on the decision fatigue, just make things simple Go with something that works and stick with it as long as you can. I have found, in my experience, the more I have been able to use this technique and just go for something that I love and stick with it instead of constantly looking for new options, the better my life has been. It has seriously improved 100 times or more with this technique. Hopefully that's helpful in some way to you. I invite you to do some introspection and see if there may be something that you can chop out of your life and cut down on and kind of just go for the heart, the why of what you're doing, and possibly be able to save yourself a hell of a lot of hours and buy back your time. Wonderfully good little mental trick. Yeah, this is just my own experience. Not sure if it's helpful or not, but I just wanted to put it out there. Until the next video, have a lovely morning, afternoon, evening, or middle of the night. I hope you just have a great rest of your day. That's all. Catch you in the next video.